Well, hello there and welcome back to Matt's Plot. It's a bit weird today. We're in the greenhouse and it's snowing outside. But we're not starting just yet, but let's get ready for doing some planting and some sowing. So what are we going to need to plant our vegetables this year and to get ourselves ready? Well, obviously we're going to need compost. Any peat-free compost will do. I mix mine with a little bit of vermiculite just to help it with its drainage. Let's not overcomplicate it. There's loads out there on the market. Pick whichever one you like. Which bag looks the nicest to you and pick that one. Don't worry about it if it's Verve from B&Q or if it's Dale Farm or if it's made from wool. Doesn't matter really. As long as it's peat free, you're pretty much good to go nowadays. You don't have to add anything to it. I add vermiculite to it just because it's something I've done for a few years and I trust it, I'm confident in it, so I keep doing it. Next, you're going to need something to put the compost in. Now, it can be these little propagation trays, it can be modules, it can be the tray that your raspberries or your blueberries come in from Tesco or Morrison's or wherever. It doesn't matter. It can be egg boxes. It really doesn't matter. As long as you've got something that's going to last the course and isn't going to biodegrade too quickly, you're good to go. Now, I like to use these. They are made of plastic. I've got about 30 of them and I've had them for about 5 years now. They're really good. You've got 20 per tray. 2 of them fits perfectly into one black tray. So I can have 40 modules in there, all done, all dusted. So what do you put in what tray? Well, inside the house, I've got 7 of these with composting currently warming up on the windowsill. Now these are what I use for my tomatoes, my chilies, things that need a little bit of heat. I also use them for mass sowing of lettuce seeds, so I'll sow probably 40 to 50 lettuce seeds in there and just leave them off the heat. As long as they're inside, they don't really need that much heat. That's quite simple for that. If I'm doing multiple sowing, so 3 to 4 to a cell, then I'm going to start using these module trays. Those that watch Charles Dowding will know 3 to 4 peas, 3 to 4 turnip seeds, 3 to 4 radish seeds, whatever. Put it all in a module, inside, a little bit of heat for 3 to 5 days. They'll start to germinate. Then you can bring them outside into a warmish greenhouse. If your greenhouse is cold, unheated, keep them inside a little bit longer because they're just going to die, so it's not really worth it. That's why I don't plant anything until at least mid-February. After years and years of planting things, keeping them on the windowsill, bring them outside, dead. Or having windowsills that are just covered in plants. I have tomato plants that are 3 foot high. By early March, they're just never going to do anything. So this year, I've sat on my hands and I've not planted anything yet. Right. What can I plant now? Well, down at my allotment, we've got the brown bags are out. So they do nice brown bags full of stuff. These are broad beans. You get a bag of broad beans for £1. Nice big seeds. You can plant them straight outside now if you want. I don't do that. I plant them straight into my modules, keep them inside. It gives them a bit of a kickstart. I also don't grow broad beans in my beds anymore. I use a 15-litre tub and I plant them in the tub and put them in the corner. Because I'm not a big fan of broad beans. I have a friend who is, and that's who I grow them for. I don't want them taking up space in my bed. Also, down the plot, they do red and white onions, a nice bag of each for 50p. You'll probably get, I don't know, about 50. Nice little sets there. Easy. I'm not going to plant these out now. What I'm going to do with these is I'll keep these in a dry place for now, a dry, cool place, because these will be planted a little bit later. It's still too early to put my onion sets in. Unless you put them in to overwinter, these aren't going to do any good in the ground. They're just going to rot, absolutely pointless. Shallots. Nice shallot there. I got this from my local garden centre. You get them from Wilco's everywhere. Again, I'm not going to do anything with these. I'm just going to keep these in a nice dry area. Keep them ready. I'll probably put these in the ground, well, into pots around first week of March. Other things that are really going to help you out. If you can get egg boxes like this, they're fantastic, not only for storing my shallots in, but also when I start to chip my potatoes, which I've now got my second early potatoes. I've got Charlotte. I'm going to put those in there, put them in the study, and that'll help them chit. They don't need anything else to do. They definitely don't need to go in the ground now because they're just not going to grow. So if you can get egg trays, they're fantastic. Also, once you've finished, You can shred them down, rip them up, put them on your compost heap. Worms really love them. So other seeds you can start doing now. You can start looking at sowing radishes, turnips, your lettuce, other bits and bobs. I'd really calm down on. Probably your tomatoes, if they're not in now, you're probably going to be looking at sowing those very soon. Remember, don't come into the garden, fill up your little green tray with compost and then put the seeds straight into cold compost. The seeds just aren't going to like it. It's going to put them back. Bring the compost inside for a few days. So fill your tray, put it inside for a few days, let that compost warm up, and then sow them. The way I do it is I get a pencil. Once I've got the compost in, and I poke little holes, and I put a seed in each hole, cover it over gently, very small amount of room temperature water, and I just leave it. It's exactly what I do with my chilies. They always work. I always grow far too many. I used to just sprinkle them all on top, cover them over with compost. I'd end up with a whole batch germinating. There's 60 plants. Who needs 60 plants? None of my friends wanted them. They were all fed up with tomato plants. So they just either get wasted or left or forgotten to water. So I'm just doing the correct amount now. Hopefully that's going to give me better results. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to carry on with. Also, jobs in the greenhouses. Clean the greenhouse down so all the mildew's off it. Get rid of all the winter stuff that's in here. I've still got logs stored in here, and my tender plants are in here and other bits and bobs. So I'm slowly sorting things out. I'm in no rush this year. We've all got time. So yeah, take it easy. Make sure your beds are prepared. Make sure you've got that manure down if you're putting it down, and you're ready to go. Have a little check around. Have a little check around. See what pots you've got. See what you can share and give to other people. Lots of people wanting to get into growing now. So if you've got lots of pots like me, find a local Facebook group, put them on there. People will come and pick them up. Just leave them on your drive. People will come up. You don't need to speak to them. So it can be a nice, safe handover. Obviously, in these times, we need to be very careful. And just be careful. Get your stuff ready and look forward to some really good time sowing in the next few days. As always, if you've got any comments, please pop them down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and we'll be back soon.